What is up, everybody? I'm here with Temperize. He's going to be joining me on my channel. We're going to talk about execution together. So go ahead. You want to say hello?
All right, what's up, guys?
Okay, so I guess we'll start with the maps. Or no, I don't want to start the maps yet because that's some good stuff. Let's save that for later. I want to talk about the loadouts. Now, I will say that I absolutely love execution. I'm pretty sure you like execution too, from what I see, and I know you play a lot of game battles. Yeah. So with the loadouts, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is that there's only smokes and spots. I'm a huge fan of that, and I really am happy there's no frags or anything in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about one weapon loadouts because half the time it feels like if I'm using a Lancer and I'm the last man out, then I'm absolutely screwed. So
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I don't like that about that because, and then especially in this game, the Lancer to me seems like it's a better choice than the shotgun. When obviously the main thing that people liked for gears was the shotgun, but with it being just one weapon, then you'd want to use the Lancer. But then, like you said, within the clutch situation, you pretty much would need a Nasher. So
yeah,
you're right about that.
Yeah, that's true. And I actually have a question for you because I know you've been doing a bit of game battles. Is there like a limit of the amount of Lancer users versus shotgun users?
Yeah, I think there's actually more Lancers than shotguns that I've seen, but I use the shotgun.
Yeah, I'm a shotgun fan myself, but I mean, like you said, it makes sense because you can use a Lancer to actually cover your teammates' asses. But it does make me feel a little out of place being used to execution and having both weapons so I can fight on all fronts, which is something that I kind of hope they give us a playlist to test what it would be like with one rifle and one shotgun. But like you were saying before, those clutch situations are back. I live for those clutch situations, and I've seen from your channel you've got a couple of clutches from competitive, which, just so everybody knows, if you get a clutch in competitive, that a 2v1 is significantly harder than a 5v1 rank clutch. I can tell you that right now, so they're gonna have to go check out your channel for that. So I guess the next thing we'll bring over to now is the maps, and this is what I have to say about the maps. They're tight, which is nice and everything, and I really like the flow, but they're just massive, and I think it's pretty obvious that they're made for free-for-all, which makes it pretty difficult. Yeah, because certain teams can take over parts of the maps with ease compared to the other teams, and it just leads to a crap load of imbalances. So that's how I feel about the maps.
I really don't enjoy the maps, and I can't wait till they add more, and hopefully they'll work better for execution and the other modes because they really are just more better for free-for-all. That's why I generally just play free-for-all whenever I play. That's the only way they work.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I feel like Haven and Streets are two maps that kind of work, but even then, it just...
Yeah, those are...
Yeah, it drives me nuts, which I guess will lead into the next thing we're talking about. With the power weapons, for instance, on Haven, one team gets Bushka, the other team gets Torque Bow, and it's just... that's not for me. I've always been about fighting for power weapons and putting your ass on the line.
That's exactly what I wanted to say about... And that's the thing I don't like about execution and judgment, is that you spawn with power weapons pretty much. Like, the round shouldn't start on every map and then you just see taken. I mean, like in other gears, like certain maps, maybe like canals, you know, you'd spawn with just a sniper. It wouldn't be a Bushka and all these other great power weapons that you start with, like you were talking about. That's the thing that irks me. Not
to mention in canals, both teams get a sniper, so it's pretty...
Yeah, it's not just even. One, it's balanced.
And another thing that just drives me nuts is that if you don't get one of the power weapons off the bat, I kind of feel like you're just cannon fodder. You're just waiting to die sometimes because you can't do anything. Yeah, and then it's hard to push, especially if you don't have power weapons. Oh, I just remembered. I mean, I'll say this, which kind of goes back to the maps, but that room in the library,
oh my god,
it's criminal. It's gotta go.
Yeah, especially for competitive, like you just sit up there, and then in competitive the swaps are different. So instead of a one shot up there, it's an ink up there. So, and it comes back so quick. It's just, you get an ink, you throw it down, then you try to go back up there. The guy's throwing another ink. Like one round, it was like 5 minutes stalemate. It just kept going. We couldn't even get the guy. It was crazy.
I wonder if they can actually update that, because I'm sure they realize that's a bit of a problem now. Yeah, so I'd like to see that changed. Now, with competitive versus public, because like you said, in competitive there's inks up there. I've played it from a public standpoint in ranked matches, where I know you've played from a competitive standpoint, so there's lots to talk about there. From a public standpoint, I mean, like I said, it's just tough if you're not one of the people who has the power weapons, and a lot of people seem to sit on the weapons and just travel in packs. I mean, it's still mad fun, don't get me wrong. I hate to be sounding overly negative in this commentary, but it definitely has its struggles with public, which is why I'm really interested to see how it plays out competitive, which is what I want to ask you right now.
Yeah, well, honestly, for me, I don't enjoy competitive that much, and I mean, for the people that don't even know, if you looked at my channel from Gal 3, there was pretty much basically no public play. It was almost always competitive because that's what I love to do. I don't usually enjoy public that much. I always play competitive, but for Judgment, competitive for me is just, I don't know, it's not really even fun. Even though I usually win, I only lost once, I still just don't even have much fun on it, so I actually play more public than competitive, so yeah.
See, I'm hoping that competitive is gonna bring it back for me because, I mean, I'm still having a blast on public. There's obviously a lot of things working against it, and in comparison to Gears 3, it doesn't seem to be as complete, I guess I could say. But I was really hoping that with some of the swaps that they would put for competitive, like I think on Gondola there's a boom shot where Digger is and stuff like that, where people fight for. I was hoping that it would bring it back. And I guess another question is, how's the level of teamwork in competitive? I mean, is it even, is it still there, or is it just kind of people running around with shotguns?
Yeah, it seems like there's not as much teamwork, especially because of the modes with, like, well, it was Team Deathmatch. I played more of that than Execution. I haven't gotten to play that much. But like you said about a boom shot on Gondola, they keep changing the swaps, so I'm not even sure what the swaps are right now. There was a boom shot, and now I think they changed it to like a Bushka. I'm not even sure. They just keep changing them around. And I don't know, we'll have to see when they actually like balance the swaps and finish it to see how it plays out, but as of now with them keep changing it, it's just awkward every time you play. It's like different swaps, so I can't even get used to it.
Yeah, actually that's true. There would be a lot of testing at this point, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it would help if the settings were a little bit more static, so we know how to take everything as it comes. That sounded wrong. But moving on, I guess we need to think about solutions for Execution. So for me, like I said, off the bat, I would want traditional loadouts back. I'm fine with the grenades. I think it'd be really cool if we could have rifle and a shotgun. And I wish they'd just bump up the amount of shells for the shotgun. 8 shells? Oh, it just drives me
I don't know
nuts.
why they do that.
Another thing, I think everybody's waiting for this. Even if it's flashback maps, we need some symmetrical maps so people can actually play like a team.
Yeah.
So those are two things that come to mind for me. I'm not sure if you have anything in mind specific.
No, not really, but yeah, they definitely do need the symmetrical maps, because that's what really messes it up, because there's no like one spot to meet up, you know, and you just push, especially like a 1v1. Like, I did one challenger on this game, and we just were like trying to find each other on the map, because there wasn't a specific spot to like meet up like there would be on Gal 3, especially with like Mercy just going inside. But I forgot I was going to talk when we were talking about the competitive. I was going to say with the swaps, the bad part, a lot of the swaps they had breach shot, which, I mean, it's not like ridiculous, but there would be like 2 on every map, and it's just a one-shot headshot, so it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of too much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I know what you mean, because the breach shot can be pretty forgiving at times, whereas the long shot, you know, you got one shot, so you got to make it count.
And then you have to reload. You can't shoot 4 times, and then one shot's a headshot.
Yeah.
Like a bolt talker, you'd have to hit 2 or marks, I should say.
Yeah, and that's actually a pretty interesting point about what you said about just meeting at certain places, because I think that's another problem with Execution right now. People can just run for days. I think I said this in my previous commentary, because it's just so big and there's no central focus point, and the verticality, which I like, it's just, it doesn't work for Execution. It just prolongs the game. Yeah, so definitely new maps, and I think even at this point everybody kind of knows what they want to see done with the game, and now we're just waiting. Like, I feel like the longer we wait for these changes, the more the population goes down, which is a little upsetting to me, because I think Gears is an outstanding game, probably the best third-person shooter.
For sure.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping we see change soon.
Talking about the population going down, even yesterday I went on and played, I went to do a free-for-all, and I looked at ranked free-for-all, and there was nobody playing, except for the free-for-all DLC, but regular, it's at 0. I was like, that is crazy.
Yeah, I was actually just on earlier today, and a lot of the playlist populations are down. Execution actually still has some people playing ranked, which is nice, because I hate quick.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we have a minute and 50 seconds, so I know we're gonna rant about what we thought of Gears 3 or Gears Judgment, but
we didn't even get to talk about that.
I mean, we could just get a quick minute of it in, I guess. I mean, for me, honestly, I think Gears 3 is a more complete package, but I think the gameplay in Gears Judgment is really solid. So somewhere in the middle for me is where the perfect Gears game is.
Yeah, for me, Gears 3 was almost perfect, except for like the Lancer and the Retro and stuff. Some of the rifles being overpowered. If they had toned that down, it would have been almost perfect to me.
Yeah, especially if they remove stopping power and no
all
actives.
of that.
Yeah,
all the rifles and all that. Yeah, that would have been almost perfect. For
that's
me.
really true. And even if they just made the maps a little bit tighter for the shotgun because they're wide open, I felt like that could have been really solid. But I mean, I think Judgment's here to stay, and it's not. I don't think it's a failure. I think it needs work, and as long as people are willing to put in the time and effort, I know Fatal Strike on, if you know who that is on Twitter, he has been putting together a master list, which is just, he's a boss for that, and I love him, and I really hope people stick around through the hardship, because it's probably one of the. It's like when Gears 2 first came out, you know, people were not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Anyway, I got 50 seconds here, so I'm just going to say to everybody, you need to go to Temperize's channel. He has amazing clips for Gears 3 and Gears Judgment. He does commentaries. My favorite thing about his channel is that he versus challengers. If you go to his channel and you ask him to challenge you in a 1v1, he will. And just so you know, this guy won Rorschach's 1v1 tournament. He knows what he's doing. And I'll probably challenge him in the summer if I feel like getting slapped. So that'll be fun for you guys.
He wouldn't get slapped.
I don't know. I keep up with your clips, and his type of gameplay is really good. So check him out, guys.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for joining me, man. Take care.
Yep. You too.